Right now, somewhere out in the American heartland, a single feedlot is moving more beef through its system than most people can even wrap their heads around. Thousands of cattle. Miles of fencing. Feed trucks running all day. Data screens tracking weight, health, temperature, and timing. And at the very end of that chain, a thick, sizzling ribeye lands on a plate in a steakhouse hundreds, sometimes thousands, of miles away. That is the modern American beef industry. And let's be real, this is not the old-school picture most people have in their head. It is not just a cowboy, a horse, and a few cattle under a big sky. That still exists. And it still matters. But behind every steak, every burger, every backyard cookout, there is now a massive, highly organized, high-stakes supply chain. Ranchers, feedlot managers, cattle nutritionists, veterinarians, cold chain supervisors, truck drivers, processing crews, and data systems all moving in sync. We are talking about an industry worth well over $100 billion. An industry built on land, weather, genetics, grain, steel, refrigeration, highways, and timing. And here is the question most people never stop to ask. How does a calf born on a quiet ranch in Montana become a perfectly marbled steak on a dinner table in New York, Dallas, Chicago, or Los Angeles? The answer is way bigger than most people think. It starts in open pasture. It moves through ranch gates, stocker operations, weigh stations, mega feedlots, processing facilities, refrigerated warehouses, and big rigs rolling down the interstate. And along the way, every pound matters. Every day matters. Every decision matters. Because in American beef, scale is not just impressive. Scale is the whole game. The journey does not begin in a factory. It begins out here. Open land. Cold mornings. Long fence lines. Grass moving in the wind. Cows and calves spread across acres of pasture under the kind of sky that makes everything else feel small. This is the cow-calf operation, the first stage of the American beef system. Out here, the job is simple to explain and hard to do: raise healthy calves, protect the herd, manage the land, and make sure every animal gets the strongest possible start. A rancher like Jack Walker is not just riding around checking fences for the fun of it. He is watching everything. The grass. The water tanks. The weather. The calves. The cows. The weight gain. The pasture condition. The health records. Because on a ranch, small problems do not stay small for long. A broken gate can turn into missing cattle. A dry pasture can turn into lost weight. A sick calf can change the math for the entire season. And this is where the old image of ranching starts to meet the modern one. Yes, there are horses. Yes, there are pickups covered in dust. Yes, there are worn boots, old barns, and ranch hands who know how to read cattle without saying a word. But there are also tablets, electronic tags, digital records, drone checks, genetics data, and veterinary plans. That little calf standing in the grass may look like the simplest part of the whole industry. But even here, science is already involved. Ranchers care about genetics because genetics shape the future of the herd. Better health. Better growth. Better muscle structure. Better efficiency. Better calves next season. And that matters, because a newborn calf might weigh around 70 to 80 pounds. For the next several months, its job is to stay close to its mother, drink milk, graze, and grow. Slowly, that calf becomes stronger. Spring turns into summer. Summer starts leaning toward fall. The grass dries out. The calves get heavier. The ranch starts preparing for the next step. By weaning time, those calves may weigh 500 to 600 pounds. That is a big jump. But they are not ready for the final beef system yet. Not even close. They still need frame. They need muscle. They need a stronger immune system. Neutral. They need to adjust to life away from their mothers and move into a different kind of operation. And that is where the quiet ranch chapter ends. The trailer door closes. The dust kicks up. And the journey moves down the road. Here is the part most people skip over. Between the ranch and the feedlot, there is a whole middle stage that barely gets talked about. It is called the stocker phase. Or backgrounding. And it is one of the most important transitions in the entire beef chain. This is where young cattle arrive at specialized ranches across places like Oklahoma, Kansas, and other parts of the plains. The land looks different now. The grass is managed differently. The cattle are grouped differently. The goal is different. They are no longer tiny calves staying close to their mothers. They are growing animals that need to build a strong frame before they move into the high-energy world of the feedlot. Out here, cattle may graze winter wheat, summer grass, or carefully managed forage. It looks calm on camera, but the operation is dialed in. Maria Torres, the kind of manager running this stage, is watching the numbers just as closely as she is watching the animals. Electronic ear tags help track each animal. Handheld scanners and rugged tablets keep records updated. Weight gain, health events, pasture movement, feeding support, and herd behavior all become part of the system. This is not guesswork. It is cattle management with a data trail. And this matters because transition is stressful if it is not handled right. New pasture. New herd. New feed. New water locations. New routines. A sloppy transition can cost weight, health, and time. A good one sets the animal up for the next stage. That is why the stocker phase is not just about getting bigger. It is about getting ready. You see it in the winter wheat fields, where young cattle spread out and graze across bright green forage. You see it when a drone lifts off from a dirt road and flies over the pasture, checking herd movement and forage condition. You see it at the water troughs, the mineral stations, the safe handling lanes, the scale platforms, and the quiet observation pens. Every detail feeds the same question. Are these cattle growing the right way? Over several months, they stretch out. They build bone. They build muscle. Their bodies become stronger and more prepared for the final feeding phase. And then comes the next threshold. Around 800 pounds, give or take, they are ready to move again. This time, the destination is not another quiet pasture. It is the most intense, most controversial, most efficient, and most jaw-dropping part of American beef production. The mega feedlot. This is where the system changes completely. A mega feedlot in Kansas, Nebraska, or Texas is not just a farm. It is an outdoor industrial food production system built around timing, feed, logistics, health monitoring, and scale. From above, the first thing you notice is the geometry. Long pens. Straight lanes. Feed bunks. Water troughs. Grain silos. Feed mills. Trucks moving on schedule. Everything has a place. Everything has a purpose. And when cattle arrive here, the goal shifts again. They are no longer just building frame. Now they are finishing. That means turning months of growth into the flavor, tenderness, and marbling American beef is famous for. And that does not happen by accident. A feedlot ration is not just a pile of grain. It is a carefully formulated mix built by nutritionists. Corn. Alfalfa. Soybean meal. Minerals. Roughage. Energy. Protein. Fiber. The goal is to help cattle gain weight efficiently while keeping them healthy and stable. And the numbers get serious fast. A finished animal might consume 25 to 30 pounds of feed a day. In the right conditions, it can gain 3 to 4 pounds per day. That may sound simple, but when a feedlot is managing tens of thousands of animals, those numbers become a full-blown engineering problem. Feed trucks run the lanes with GPS guidance and onboard systems. They dispense ration into concrete bunks with tight control. Not too little. Not too much. At the right time. In the right pen. Meanwhile, managers like Maria are watching data from every angle. Pen maps. Feed schedules. Health indicators. Weight checks. Water systems. Dust control. Weather. Heat stress. Shipment timing. This is where ranching becomes operations management. And honestly, this is the part that surprises people. Because the feedlot looks dusty, old school, and rough around the edges. But behind the scenes, it runs like a logistics machine. There are control rooms. There are scanners. There are nutrition meetings. There are veterinarians walking pens. There are feed trucks moving like clockwork. There are water trucks controlling dust on hot days. There are night lights because the operation does not simply shut off when the sun goes down. And there is pressure everywhere. Feed costs move. Weather changes. Cattle markets swing. Equipment breaks. Trucks run late. Heat waves hit. Margins get tight. Out here, being off by a little can turn into a big problem fast. But when the system works, cattle reach market weight around 1,400 pounds, depending on the operation and the animal. By then, the beef has developed the kind of intramuscular fat, or marbling, that turns a steak from just meat into something people will pay serious money for. That is the feedlot's job. Take the animal from grown to finished. From frame to flavor. From potential to product. And when that target weight is reached, the next step is no longer about pasture or grain. It is about regulation, sanitation, refrigeration, speed, and precision. The system moves from dust and sunlight into steel and cold air. The final stage is where the American beef system becomes intensely controlled. Modern beef processing facilities are not casual places. They are regulated, inspected, sanitized, and built for speed without losing control. The outside looks like a huge industrial complex. Clean buildings. Loading docks. Refrigerated infrastructure. Safety gear. Trucks moving in and out. Inside, the mood changes. The light gets colder. The surfaces turn stainless steel. Workers wear protective clothing. Equipment is cleaned constantly. Every movement has a procedure. And this is important, this part of the story is not about shock value. It is about control. Food safety. Inspection. Temperature. Timing. Traceability. Clean handling. Cold storage. Every animal and every cut moves through a system designed to keep the product safe and consistent. Skilled workers still matter. A lot. But they are supported by equipment, sensors, scanners, conveyor systems, packaging lines, and cold rooms that keep the whole process moving. Large beef cuts are separated, inspected, trimmed, packaged, sealed, and chilled. Then comes one of the real secret weapons of American meat logistics. The cold chain. The beef has to stay cold from the plant to the warehouse to the truck to the restaurant or grocery store. That means controlled temperatures, refrigerated rooms, sealed packaging, temperature checks, and big rigs designed to keep product moving safely across hundreds or even thousands of miles. A cold chain supervisor like Daniel Brooks is not just loading boxes. He is managing time and temperature. And in this business, temperature is money. Temperature is safety. Temperature is shelf life. Within hours, boxed beef moves into refrigerated trailers. Those trailers hit the interstates. Across the Midwest. Across the plains. Toward distribution centers, grocery stores, restaurants, export terminals, and steakhouses. The system that started with a calf in open pasture is now moving through America's highway network in a clean, cold, tightly timed flow. And that is the part most people never see. The steak does not simply show up. It travels through a chain that has to work almost perfectly. So the next time you see a steak hit a grill, look a little closer. Because behind that sizzle is a whole country's worth of work. A rancher checking calves before sunrise. A stocker operation building frame on winter wheat. A feedlot manager balancing rations, weight gain, weather, water, and data. A processing crew working under strict food safety rules. A cold chain team keeping beef at the right temperature mile after mile. And truck drivers moving it all across America. That is the real story of the US beef industry. It is land and labor. Old school grit and modern data. Cowboys and control rooms. Pasture grass and interstate highways. A steakhouse plate and a ranch gate hundreds of miles apart, connected by one of the most complex food systems on Earth. You do not have to think about all of that every time you fire up the grill. But once you know what it takes, that first bite feels a little different. Because American beef is not just made in one place. It is built across an entire system. From open range, to feedlot, to cold chain, to flame. And that is the journey behind the steak. So the next time you see a steak sizzling on the grill, remember this, it didn't just come from a store. It came from open pastures, long highways, feedlots the size of small towns, cold storage rooms, refrigerated big rigs, and thousands of people working behind the scenes to keep America's food system moving. This is the story behind the beef. And on Hanl Farm, we go inside the machines, farms, ranches, and industries most people never get to see up close. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit subscribe, leave a like, and tell us in the comments what industry you want us to explore next. This is Hanl Farm. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.